All right, there we go. Zulma Gonzalez, this mic is all yours. Zulma, you
Unmuting is a wonderful thing. a, a thankful Thursday to each and every only one of us. I'm going to attempt before this day is over to put the overhead light bulbs in this lamp because my lighting is really odd and strange um and it is what it is. So, but it is what it is. So, it is what it is. Um I bid you all a wonderful and beautiful day. Today would have been my niece's birthday. Uh, one she was just about a month older than me. However, on the 14th, she decided it was time to get out of here. She had a heart attack. They found that was on Monday. They found her body on Tuesday. Her remains, the leftovers, the temporary part. Um, and it was quite a I think I mentioned that on last Thursday. I think I did because I remember, or maybe it was here, maybe it wasn't. I had a, oh no, 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 no. What happened was, I may have mentioned it, but Thursday after I was finished here doing, this bit, um, I had what a wonderful meltdown, not a breakdown, but a meltdown. Couldn't stop crying. I had been looking at this stuff about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, um, and all that stuff, and looking at the fact that, oh, this is a condition, it'll never go away. I can't believe it. I'm now 67 years old, and I'm just getting around to really looking at this and what I have to do. Oh my God, I had a party of pity. I was deep in it, deep in it. And as I was coming out of it, then I started asking myself, why are you crying? So what's going on with you? And which is good, we're not we're not going to have moments for the holy instant. It's not that we're not going to have moments. The goal is just not to keep them. Um, and we have to look at the delusions in order to dispel them, in order to get rid of them. We have to look at it. So I'm asking myself, what is going on? Why are you so crying? What's happening? And it occurred to me that it was just 2 days prior that I had found out about my niece. And all I did was inhale when they told me. And then Thursday, after all this was over, I went on and had the exhale. And just a release, just a release, a release, a release. And how wonderful all that was. I'm reminded, of course, that there's nothing I can't accept because I choose to remember that everything, past, present, and to come, has been gently planned by one, the only one whose only purpose is my good. I choose to remember. I choose to remember. I choose to remember. So, um, with that, my slides they're all over the place. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I may have to stop and go with the I may have to stop and go with the PowerPoint today because I was still putting it together. Um, and it's almost it's funny in itself when you look at it. Let's see, I hit share, but nothing happened. I hit share and I want screen number 2. And I want it in slideshow mode from current slide. All right. Today, It is Thursday, July 25th, 2024. The month is almost over. And as I said, today would have been my niece Adelaida's birthday. And I raise her and I give thanks for her and I love her. I loved her and love her still. We are looking at A Course in Miracles meets the science of mind and other metaphysical teachings and other things today, not just that today. I'm going to take that a step further. Um, we're reminded too always that the kingdom of heaven is within. The kingdom of heaven is us, and that whoever shall know himself shall find it, shall find it. And of course, we're always reminded to mind our mind your business. Don't mind my business because I'm not really here anyway. It's all about you. Mind your business, mind your mind. Your mind is your business. Because what you think of me, because what I think of you is not your business. What I think of you is my business, but you just mind your mind, mind your business. Dr. Ernest Holmes teaches us that to learn how to think is to learn how to live. The course teaches us that this is a course in mind training. Let us remember this at all times, that this is a course in mind training, that and all learning involves attention and study at some level. But not only, so it says attention, which is a key word today. Attention is not only just looking at it and studying it, but it also means to practice it. We're reminded too that an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. Training my mind, how do I go about doing that? They say that when you hear something, you just hear it, but when you hear something and you're able to apply it, that's when it becomes a part of your life. That's how we embody it. So it's more than just our thoughts. It's also about our behavior. Well, I'll come to that. I'll come to that with a better explanation of that later, because of course we're quick to say this course is not a course about behaving. Um, yeah, in part it is, because if learning is a verb, training is a verb. That's a doing thing, but um, but recognizing too that I am what I do. I do what I am. I'll come to that too. Thoughts and things. I'm telling you, it's scattered today. So just bear with, please. Um, and thoughts and things are but two ends of the same proposition. Since it is impossible to stop thinking, we cannot stop creating or making. We cannot stop. Miracle principle number 12 reminds us that miracles are thoughts, and they can represent the higher form, which is the spiritual, or the lower form, which is the bodily, which is, and Dr. Holmes says here, our choice is whether we shall create constructively, higher form, or if we will make destructively and bodily form. That's always our choice. Dr. William Walker Atkinson, who goes by a whole bunch of couple other pseudonyms, and we all know that. So if I'm ghostwriting, then why is it known that I'm the ghost? Anyway, the mental pattern must always precede the material form. Always. And that is because all thinking, as the course teaches us, produces form at some level. I'm coming down out of this, let me stop share right here. Coming down out of this one because I realized that the one I had in front of me wasn't even the one I wanted. All right. So let's see if I can get this right this time. Yeah, I think I got it. I think I got it. Let's see. Nope, wrong slide. Today, I want to talk about and hope that um, you all will join me in talking about. Oops, 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 oops. No, this is wrong. This is all wrong. All right, stop, stop, stop. Um, the today, um, my thought process is crooked. Uh, it's crooked. It's funny. It's crooked, and it only makes sense considering today's topic. Now let's see if I can get the right uh, PowerPoint presentation on the screen. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let us see. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. All right. Today, today, and I'm going to be laughing my way through this because I intend to and expect to and plan to make lots of mistakes. And I'm going to correct them as I go along. The course reminds us that mistakes are for correction and nothing more. I'm not going to, and I'm saying it out loud to begin with, I'm not going to feel that incomplete. I'm not going to feel unprepared. I'm not going to feel like I'm not doing this right. I'm not going to feel all that. I am clear that every every part of life is a step, everything is a process, and we know that we would not have light bulbs had Edison gotten it right. That he didn't get it right the first time. That we wouldn't have professional anybody's if they got it right the first time. We wouldn't have anything except creation because there was no first time. It was an only time, except for creation. Anything after that, anything that had to do with what we made ourselves is bound to have error involved. Today, we are going to talk about response ability. That is the ability to respond. From First Corinthians chapter 16, verse 14. Can I put this in slideshow form, please? Um, um, Still getting the wrong slide. Why is this happening? Let all things be done with love. First Corinthians. And also from the Bible, from Ephesians chapter 4, verses 23 and 24, it, it reads, be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Put on the new man, the new person, the new life, which was created according to God in true righteousness, which I now see as the word right useness, and holiness, which, as Dove mentioned just earlier, is wholeness and holiness. So put on the new person, the new life, which was created according to God in true right useness and wholeness, in true righteousness and holiness, true right useness based on right mindedness and wholeness based on the realization that I am whole because God is whole and the Father and I are one. So today, in very unusual ways, I want to talk about ADHD, which is referred to as attention wait a minute, did I spell it right? Deficient, I did not spell that right. Hyperactivity disorder. Will it make sense that come out of that? Come on, stop share. Stop share. Um, it's supposed to be deficit, isn't it? It's the word is supposed to be deficit. DEFICIT. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Hi, Glorian. I want to say hi to everyone here. Glorian and Sharon and Lynn and Dub and Karen. Thank you for being here. Hoping that you will free me, help me, help free me from the my slideshows, the slideshow presentation that is where the slides are all over the place, um, because time keeps moving, and just when I think I've got it, I realize I don't. So let me say this about ADHD. I've been reading the different uh, symptoms, and we know symptoms are effects, but I've been reading symptoms, and one of them happens to be an issue attempting to manage time. Now, what's good about that is that in truth, there is no time. However, on this plane, on this physical plane, my time here, right, just here in Gather, is from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Thursday mornings. And I can say that I have been thinking about and working on where this was going to go since last Thursday when I started, having this meltdown that this meltdown that I talk about, because I was looking at all this ADHD stuff, and initially it wasn't making me feel better. It was not making me feel better. I wish I could get this same PowerPoint presentation in front of me here. I'm not seeming to be able to do that. Um, I'm not seeming to be able to do that, but I need to be able to do that. So I'm going to stop share again. All right. So anyway, um, so attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I was having a quite a time, quite a time with it, and um, quite a time with it, and feeling, that I wasn't, I wasn't, that I wasn't whole. I was feeling that I wasn't whole, and the ego has an interesting, strange, insidious way of getting in. In the 12-step program, we talk about these the things that we're addicted to, that it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. The ego has a cunning way and a baffling way and a powerful way of becoming becoming when we give our allegiance to it, because it's not the ego that's powerful, it is me that's powerful, it is God that's powerful. God is all power, and the opposite of all, end of sentence, is nothing. There is nothing. And if God is all there is, if God is all in all, God is in everything and everyone, God is everywhere, then where is this ego that we keep talking about? Where is this thing that we're calling cunning and baffling and vicious and all these, all these things that we keep calling this thing? It's a belief system, and it's just that, a belief system. So I was thinking about, I was looking at uh, Science of Mind, and how that's set up, as far as we talk about that, um, we plant a seed, we put it in the soil, and from that comes a plant. And we translate that to say that we have a thought, we put feeling, conviction with it, and from that comes a behavior. So when I saw this diagram, thoughts, feelings, behavior, I thought, oh, this is this is what we call science, of what we call religious science, what we call our mind training tools, which in the world of psychology and psychiatry is called cognitive behavioral therapy. The reality is, this is from the cognitive behavioral therapy, cogbtherapy.com website. The reality is, many of the thoughts we have are not facts. Isn't that what we say? Many of the thoughts that we have are not facts. In fact, we know that our thoughts, because they can change, can't be real. They don't exist. So they come, they go, they come to pass, they don't stay. So they can't be facts remain being facts. Oh, well, I'm going to question that. I'm going to ask someone to talk to me about the word facts. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with the word. Is a fact the truth? Is it a reality? But anyway, it's saying here that our thoughts are merely conclusions that we develop in response, here's my answer, to a limited set of facts. Facts are limited too. So the thought that I'm having based on such and such a fact is temporary because the fact itself is limited and it is temporary. But I'm talking about from the perspective of cognitive behavioral therapy. It's saying that the people who are in treatment, the people who go seek this therapy, have thoughts that are not based on facts. Well, I'm a student of A Course in Miracles, and A Course in Miracles has taught me of my own insanity, that my belief in what's not real is real. So while I am not a a client of any psychologist or psychiatrist, excuse me, um, I am a student of A Course in Miracles. I am a student of religious science. I am a student of the infinite way. I am a student of life because all things are lessons that life would have me learn. Back to the quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes, that to learn how to think is to learn how to live. For me to have this life and that more abundantly, as is written in the Bible, I have to remember that I am always a student. The Course asked the question, how many times have I thought I was right about something and then found out that I absolutely was not, absolutely was incorrect about what I was thinking? I am continually a student. And once I stop thinking that I am, I'm in trouble because then I think I know, which becomes the illusory fact of the moment. Oh, I know, I know that Glorian is in this room. I know that Karen and Sharon and Lynn and Doug are in the room. Do I really know that? And what room are we talking about? Sitting here in this house. Do I know because Dove's photograph is on the screen that he's actually in this room? He may or may not be. Don't know. Likewise with anyone else here. I don't know. I think so. I'm going by what I see. What I see, there's a song, there's a song. Oh no, it's actually a quote. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Well, I'm taught to believe that not to believe anything I see because I'm seeing through a distorted lens, through a lens that's not real. As it says here, that I'm seeing based on my thinking. Huh. And my thoughts are based on a limited set of facts. A limited set of facts. I really do wish I could see this next slide before I put it up, and I can't. So let's just see what happens here. From Joel Goldsmith. All right, I'm happy. From Joel Goldsmith, a parenthesis in eternity, from pages 42 and 65. Joel writes, the responsibility of a spiritual student is great. No one else has quite the same responsibility as do those of us on the mystical path, because we cannot rely on the hope of most Christians that Jesus is dying on the cross will save us from all the penalties of our sins, or that our minister, the confessional, the mass, or church attendance will take away our burden. We cannot lean on any system or person. I can't lean on any system particularly the ego thought system, I cannot lean on any person, not even me, not even me, because what I think I believe, what I think is true, isn't. It's true now. It's not true later. Well, it never was true. He says that what is necessary and important is that we enter the sanctuary, this temple of God that we are and in, this temple of God that we are. I am, you are, we are the temple of God. We are in the temple of God. How's it written? That we live in God, we move in God, we have our being in God. We're not part of it, we are it. This individualized expression of God in form. What is necessary and important is that we enter the sanctuary, that is to go within, this temple of God that we are and in, which the presence of God dwells. I didn't read that right. This temple of God that we are and in which the presence of God dwells. When we recognize this and go within, we then begin to commune with that presence. Now, I want to keep the focus on thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Thoughts, feeling, and behavior. It's going to keep coming up, keep coming up, keep coming up. For me to be response able, for me to respond is a behavior. I think a thought, I feel a feeling, and then I respond. I believe it's in chapter 21 where it talks about projection makes perception. I had all these P words running through my head. Progress, and I had all these P words running through my head. Projection makes perception. The world I see, the world you see, the world we see is what we gave it. Nothing more than that. Isn't that what this definition came up from the whole cognitive behavioral page? Didn't it just say that? Our thoughts that from this limited set of facts. Of course, continues, but though it is no more than that, that is, the world we see is what we gave it, nothing more. But though it is no more than that, it is not less. Therefore, to you, it is important. Your world is important to you. My world is important to me. The world right now, oh, it's in chaos and this, that, and the other. And it's important to all of us. In religious science, we call that race consciousness. I'm going to drop the screen for a moment. I'll bring it back, but I have to drop it for now. I have to stop the share screen because I have no idea what slide is coming next. Hi, Regis. Glad you're here. Um, uh, so that the lesson continues from chapter 21. It says that that is the world, is the witness to your state of mind, the outside picture of an inward condition. I'm seeing, and we're told to go within. Joel Goldsmith says it's important to go within, because if we don't, we'll keep looking at what's out here and thinking it real and attempting to make it real, and ultimately driving ourselves crazy with it, or continuing in the insanity that we already are. I want us to remember thoughts, feelings, behavior, thoughts, feelings, behavior. As a man thinketh, that's a thought, so does he perceive. Therefore, speak not. Don't seek to change the world, but choose, that's an action, to change your mind about the world. Thoughts, feelings, actions. Now, that passage talks about the thought of it and it talks about the action of it. But that action cannot and will not come until I make that change. That's that in between where at which point my feelings change. My feelings about that thing change. Whatever that is I'm thinking. My feelings change. And once my feelings change, then my behavior changes. Now, there's well, we'll get to that too. We'll get to that. Let me go back to the screen. And I'm going back and forth with it because I'm telling you, I have slides all over the place. They're all over the place. And I don't know what's actually next. I see that there's stuff in the chat at the moment. I can't get to it, but I will. I will. Slideshow. Current slide. Wrong slide. From the cognitive behavioral therapy website, which, by the way, is coming from a website called Additudes, Additudes, Additudes. I'll take the T's out of the word attitude, it's attitudes. Cognitions or automatic thoughts lead to emotional difficulties. This is from the cognitive behavioral therapy worksite. Automatic thoughts are spontaneous interpretations of events. As the course teaches, the ego always speaks first. Cognitions or automatic thoughts lead to emotional difficulties. I already said I'm insane. If I keep believing that I can do this thing the same way and get a different result, if I keep believing that my pain is real, that it's permanent, if I keep believing that anything I see, hear, smell, taste, and touch has permanence, I am insane, and it does lead to emotional difficulties. Automatic thoughts, that's the ego, the chatter of the ego, the belief that this is real, the belief that the ego in itself is real. Automatic thoughts are spontaneous interpretations of events. These impressions, still from the cognitive behavioral therapy website, these impressions are susceptible to distortion. That brings up one of my favorite places in the course, such as unfounded assumptions about yourself or others, situation, or the future. What are we taught? If I'm not thinking with God, if I'm not thinking in the present, if I'm not thinking in the now, I'm not thinking at all. I'm stuck somewhere I'm stuck somewhere either where I used to be or where I think I used to be in the past, in a place that doesn't exist, or in the future that doesn't exist. I'm caught up in a situation, a problem that I think cannot be solved. Unfounded assumptions, distortion. The course teaches fantasy is a distorted form of vision. Fantasies of any kind are distortions because they always involve twisting perception into unreality. Twisting perception into unreality. Isn't that what that says? Distortion, unfounded assumptions. Actions, the course continues, that stem from distortions are literally reactions of those who know not what they do. Actions, that's behavior. Doing, that's behavior. Fantasy is an attempt to control reality according to false needs. Twist reality in any way, and you are perceiving destructively. And if I'm perceiving destructively, I'm creating destructively. I do need to go to the um, chat and see what's happening there because quite a few things came up. I want to make sure I don't miss those. Let me come out of here for a moment and see what my family has to say. What my family has to say. Yes. And Lynn reminds us, aha, aha, interesting. That how I treat my brother is a behavior. Clearly, we know that. Simple. But what she says that I have heard people refute time and time again. Lynn says this course is all about behavior. And dear one, I agree. I agree. I agree because it's asking me to change my thinking. What's changing? Behavior. It's asking me to rather change, yeah, to change to see it differently. What is seeing? Behavior. Karen wrote, only the power we give to the ego gives it power. Absolutely. Our allegiance to what the course says is what makes it real. It's not real. It's not. It's not. It's not. Simple as that. And Gloria wrote, we are always the student. Yes, love. Listening to the voice of the Holy Spirit. Yes, we are always the student. Now, unfortunately, because we believe that in the whole thing of duality, that there is more than one, we think that we can listen to this another voice that we made that's temporary in the first place. We think we can listen to an illusory voice, make that real, and then act accordingly, which then ends up becoming where this whole cognitive behavioral therapy stuff comes from. From the cognitive behavioral therapy website, it says an unhealthy internal dialogue could prevent an individual from working toward an aggressive goal. Now, aggressive in this case means actually doing something, moving forward, um, working to develop productive new habits or generally take calculated risks. And that is the person who reads the lessons, reads the text, reads the lessons, reads the manual, reads the supplements, reads, comes to goes to different study groups and goes to study groups and goes to study groups and goes to study groups. And what while they're reading, they're just, reading it like a novel. They even say they're studying it. Okay, nothing I see means anything. Nothing I see means anything. Nothing I see means anything. Close the book, walk away, and all of a sudden, everything I see means something. I have forgotten that I am not really, I'm not that I'm that my goal here is to train my mind. This is a course in mind training. All of our metaphysical teachings are courses in mind training, all of them. I don't care what you call it. Science of mind, Christian science, divine science, unity, whatever, the infinite way, all of them. A Course in Miracles, they are courses in mind training. They are all designed to help us to be renewed in the spirit of our mind, which is an action. These are actions. Be renewed. These are actions. These are behaviors. We have to do something. I'm not putting the screen back up just yet until I know where I am with this. I'll come back to that one. All right. I'll share this screen. So the course teaches that every response, which is an action, you make is determined by what you think you are. There's the thought. And what you want to be is what you think you are. Now I have to say that second part of that what I just read, what you think you are is what you know, what you want to be is what you think you are. For the longest time until just recently, actually, I did not understand what that meant. Now, I have this quote in a frame up in my office space. It's been there for years because this particular passage caught me. But I always say every response you make is determined by what you think you are. So what you want to be must determine every response you make. And I would skip the middle. But today I understand what it says here, that what I want to be is what I think I am, because that's now. Right now is what I think I want to be. I think I want to be uh, whatever, but I'm thinking the thought right now. And in this moment, that is what I am. If I think I want to be successful, in this moment, I am. My thoughts are about success. I may call it wish world. My next thought might be, I wish that were true. Oh, I hope it happens. Those words, though, by the wayside. But if I'm thinking I am successful, I want to be successful. I'm already thinking from a successful mind, from a successful point of view. I get that today. What I want to be is what I think I am. Every response we make is determined by what we think we are. Now, our responses comes from our thoughts. Our thoughts, our decisions, the course reminds us that decisions are continuous. So this every moment, every moment, every moment, every moment. And what's good about that is that I have the option, I have the choice, I have the gift to be able to change in every moment, in every moment. It's like I say something like, "Oops, that's not what I meant to say," and then correct, autocorrect. You know what I mean? Self-correct. In this moment, I said this, but in the next moment, oops, what I meant to say was that, or this, including that, or however that goes. Every moment, I have choice. I have choice. So that passage continues with, what you want to be then must determine every response you make. If I say that I want to be a student of A Course in Miracles, if I want to be, I'll take it a step further, that I want to be a miracle worker, I want to be a teacher of God. Well, we say, oh, well, we're all teachers and we're all students and we're all teachers, because we're always teaching. We're always teaching. But when we talk about being a teacher of God, we have to go back to what the course says, that this is a course in mind training. And if you intend on learning this course, you're talking about training your mind, and that all learning involves attention and study at some level. All of it involves attention and study at some level. So for me to say I want to be a teacher of God based on A Course in Miracles, then I have to be willing not only to read it, not only to study it, but to practice it, practice it, practice it. And that the decision to do that comes from this conviction, this feeling that started with the thought, I want to be a teacher of God. That's my thought. And right now, that is what I am. It is what I am. I am that because I'm thinking that that's where I am. I am embodying that in the moment. And the feeling, with that feeling, I'm embodying it. I'm embodying it and embodying it, and thus able to behave in such a way. What I want to be must determine every response I make. Responses are actions. Thought, feeling, behavior. James Clear, from the book that was assigned to me, that I am reading right now, is called Atomic Habits. And he writes that the most practical way to change who you are. It's to change what you do. Now, the course teaches us, I'm going to find that slide. And since they're in no particular order, I have to drop this so I can find it. I'm going to be going back and forth through from one slide to another. Um, hmm, hmm. I can't find it at all. Where did I put that? All right, let me slow down because laugh with me as I'm looking through the slides, and these things are just flashing through. Whatever the slide was that I was looking for, I don't remember what that was. I don't remember what that was. I don't remember what it was. Oh, here it is. Oh gosh. I am learning about this so-called condition, but the condition is the belief that there's something wrong with being who I am in this moment, but it's the belief that there's something wrong, that I should be ashamed, that I should, feel this, that I should feel that, that I should keep shooting on myself about it. I'm saying that out loud. I'm saying that out loud for me. You happen to be here to hear it, and so it is. But I had to say that out loud for me because that meltdown that I said I had last Thursday was all about shame and blame and blame. Oh gosh, when I told the psychologist way back in 1992, no, actually I told him in 93 or 94 on one of those spontaneous visits, I think I have ADD. The H wasn't in there yet. They hadn't even put the H in there yet. I think I have ADD. And he said to me, no, you don't have ADD because if you did, you would be violent. And huh? And we left it at that. And he moved on to whatever the actual reason was that I came to see him that day. And I chose to accept that. I accepted what he said because he was the professional who had absolutely no knowledge, no information, not enough resources when it came to ADHD. But I accepted that, and I kept on thinking and believing, and at one point I'm even going to say knowing, which is now I don't. That's something that something is wrong. I believed something is wrong with me. I keep misplacing my keys. I keep being disorganized. I keep forgetting this. I keep switching that. That's part of who Zulma is. And there's nothing wrong with it. But we're talking about mind training, mind training, mind training, cognitive behavioral therapy, science of mind, mind training. I'll continue with my thought when I remember it. Go ahead, Gloria.
Thanks, Zulma. And I love this morning. I was on Pal Talk when you were talking about your loss, and I'm so sorry for your loss. And that recognition that we do acknowledge what it is that we're feeling. We look at it and you can't really deny anything, because if you do deny it, it will come up again. So everything is here to bless us and to recognize that there is no separation and there's only the oneness of God. And I like what you're saying about mind training and practice, practice, practice. And this workbook is about undoing the error and the upside down thinking. And that's the first 50 lessons. And then we move into identification of our oneness with what we truly are. And I think today's lesson is beautiful in what you're talking about going out in the world, because as we accept it, then we become the embodiment of it and it's reflected out there. So if I could just quickly read today's lesson. And lesson 207, I'm not a body, I'm free, for I am still as God created me. I bless the world because I bless myself. So giving and receiving are one in truth. God's blessing shines upon me from within my heart where he abides. I need but turn to him and every sorrow melts away as I accept his boundless love for me. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And as we accept his boundless love, we become the natural emanations of that light and love into the world. But we can't think we're going to skip the steps to it or deny what's seemingly happening here. Everything that's seemingly happening here is a gift. And, we use that gift to return our mind to listening to that still small voice. And on Tuesday night, it was coming out that we listen to that still small voice with expectancy that we will receive, and giving and receiving are one in truth. So thank you so much for this today.
Thank you. Appreciate that so much. Thank you. Yes, Karen.
Thank you, Glorian. Put my hand down. And thank you, Zulma. I can relate to everything you're sharing. And my daughter has ADHD, and it's actually diagnosed as severe ADHD. And it's definitely, for her, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, and it's been a challenge. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about my daughter today. I just wanted to, what you shared, brought up for me that you're right. There's nothing wrong. Everything's perfect. It's the guilt. When we put the guilt on it, like you said, as long as you're not feeling guilty about it, there's nothing to feel guilty about. There's something that just reminded me of in the manual in 26. Can God be reached directly? In paragraph 4, he says, do not despair then because of limitations, because of ADHD. Do not despair then because of limitations. It is your function to escape from them, but not to be without them. If you would be heard by those who suffer, you must speak their language. If you would be a savior, you must understand what needs to be escaped. And what needs to be escaped is the guilt we lay on ourselves. What needs to be escaped is picking up the hammer, and forgetting about the feather. We don't need to feel guilt about anything today. Everything is perfect. And the healing comes when we listen to the Holy Spirit and we're gentle with ourselves. And once we're gentle with ourselves, we accept all things as they are. And in quiet laughter, he shines them away, So I just love that you're sharing this, because we all have a limitation. We all have something, and it's how like you said, what's your reaction to it? When your reaction comes from the Holy Spirit with that gentleness, there's no judgment. And we can give ourselves a break and take ourselves off the hook, and everybody else that goes along with it. Thanks.
Well, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect what you said. I'm going to bring up a slide based on that very thing. But thank you. That was one of the slides I intended to include in today's presentation. And I may continue with this next week because I want to put these slides in order. I'm looking at it in an order that's kind of bugging me. But is that, yeah, okay. I'm going to share my screen. Just so you all know, this is for me today. This whole thing is for me today. I am. I'm so glad you all are here. I'm so glad that the part of me that's you is here, because this is for me today. And I still thought about this. Like, ought I to go into this? Yeah, I'm going in. I'm going in. I'm going in because I have to make this glare for me that you can't get rid of the illusion. I can't get rid of it unless I look at it. I can't get rid of the problem until I realize that there is no problem. I have to look at it. Workbook lesson 79 says, I gotta look at it, gotta see it to let it go. And 80 says there is no problem, because once you see it as a problem and you realize that that whole problem thing isn't real, then poof, workbook lesson 80 says that the problem has already been solved. It's already been solved, because what I want to be is what I think I am. And what I want to be is is already what I am. I am whole. I am complete. I am informed what God is. I am that. That I am. I am. God is, I am. So the slide, that should be there. This one shouldn't be here. This, not that, move that somewhere else. Let's do that. Let's bring the slide up so we can see it better, so I can see it better. The course teaches us that you cannot change your mind by changing your behavior, but you can change your mind. Now, what's interesting is that James Clear says that the best way to change what you are is by changing what you do. However, he starts out in this book talking about it, because it doesn't start out that way. See, here's the thing. We think, well, let me continue. It is certain that you will never find satisfaction in fantasy, so that your only hope is to change your mind about reality. Change your mind about reality. So James Clear, in his book, talks about that the name of the book is Atomic Habits. And he talks about the fact that we look at things like, I have a goal. I want to do that. I want to do that. And then we do it for the moment, and then it's gone. The person who says, I want to lose X amount of pounds, I want to lose weight. So they go and they buy the food, and they buy the weights, and they buy the sneakers, and they do this and they do that and they do the other, and they're dreading it the whole time, because, oh my God, I don't want to eat lettuce again. I feel like a rabbit. I don't, or carrot, whatever. I feel like a rabbit. Oh, I don't want to run again. The weather, it's too hot, too cold. It's raining. My calves hurt. Oh my God. I don't even know why I spent the money on these weights. This is a waste of time. And God, this is uncomfortable and it hurts. And what he's saying is that we're so busy looking at what we want to do. We're really not looking at who we want to be. Every response we make is determined by what, or in this case, who we think we are. If I think that I am a person who is to lose weight, the goal, it has nothing to do with who I am. If I begin to see myself as a person who is healthy, a person who believes in me, starting with that I recognize my health. I'm recognizing my health. I'm recognizing my wholeness. I'm recognizing that it's not about doing, it's about being. And therefore, because it is who I be, right? Colloquial, we'll go with the slang of that. Because it is who I be, I already have it, and I begin to embody it. So my thoughts then are that I am healthy. I am the weight I desire to be. Starting from there, which is why, now think about it, they say that for people, if they don't, you have to accept yourself where you are in order to get where you want to be. Because wherever you go, there you are. If I don't accept myself as I am, I'm going to be in a state of non-acceptance along the way. The drudgery, the money I spent, the weather, the pain, all of that. So he's saying to go from the place of where I am. I am what God is. Starting right there. I am what God is. And because I am what God is, I can't go wrong. I can't go wrong. So Karen said something I thought was very interesting. I'm going to go back to that slide. I'm going to go to um I'm going to share my screen. Blank screen. Very good. So Dr. Ernest Holmes, in his book, This Thing Called You, a section that I titled Responsibility for Self. It's not that way in the book, but in This Thing Called You, Karen made a point, and here it is. Stop blaming anyone or anything, persons, circumstances, or situations for what may be happening to you. Now, you know that to you thing already. We already know that to thing is believing I'm a victim. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I invented it. He says, this is futile. This is Ernest Holmes talking. This is futile. It is a dead-end road. It is a blind alley. It is a raft adrift on an ocean of uncertainty. He goes on and says, today, you are going to take your life in your own hands. This is the behavior. Realizing God is ever with you. You are going to identify yourself with goodness and with joy. I think I stopped that right there. Did I? No, I did not. No, I did not. He says, straight thinking. Oh, wait, can you see that? What do you see? What's on the screen for you?
Yeah, I can see exactly what you're reading.
Okay, perfect. Straight thinking, what we call right-mindedness, is going to do this for you. And here we are. Straight thinking may not be the easiest thing in the world. Nobody said it was going to be easy. When I picked up this book in 1992, I'm like, what the world is this? On the shelf you go. I don't even know why I bought this book. It's like, I don't even know why I bought this book. I'm not trying to be a student of anything. I just like what Marianne Williamson said in The Return to Love, and I bought the book because she said to. What the heck is this? All this, I flip a page and then I'm talking about Holy Spirit and Jesus. What the, no, what, Holy Spirit and ego. What is this? Put it on the shelf. Straight thinking is going to do this for me. Straight thinking may not be the easiest thing in the world. That's why the training is necessary. That's why this is not, it doesn't say this is a book on learning about what the Holy Spirit is. It's not a book on learning about what the ego isn't. This isn't a book in learning about who God is. This isn't a book in learning about love. This isn't a book on that. This is a course in mind training. And all learning involves attention and study. Attention and study. Straight thinking may not be the easiest thing in the world, but it is possible for anyone. For anyone. I'm going to drop the screen so I can find out what my next slide says, because I don't know what's going on here. All right. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I don't remember who this. I need to see who said this. I put things on the screen. I mean, I put things in my if I didn't if I did not start out by putting who wrote what, I'll go back to look for it, and then I don't know who wrote what. Uh, um, interesting, interesting. Um, I will read while I search here. Nope, no author. Um, oh, this is from the course. Okay, continuing from the course. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Uh, share the screen. Stay with me, people. Stay as my friend one of my friends says, focus, Zulma, focus, focus. And the course continues out there. In addition to recognizing your difficulties with sustained attention, you must also have noticed that unless you are reminded of your purpose frequently, you tend to forget about it for long periods of time. I'm gonna pause right there. Now, if you go to the Attitude website and you go look at at what it says about ADHD, this will be there. Not in these exact words. Difficulties with sustained attention. Need to be reminded of my purpose frequently. Tend to forget for long periods of time. Fail to remember the applications. I fail to remember what I'm supposed to do that day because I didn't write it down, see? And that's because I've not yet formed the habit. I'm working on it. Atomic Habits. I'm working on it. And there's a workbook too. He didn't write the workbook, but it's phenomenal. Um, Karen, you might want to look into this. You might want to look into this. I have an accountability partner who actually recommended this book. So, but this is from the course. In addition to recognizing your difficulties with sustained attention, you must also have noticed that unless you are reminded of your purpose frequently, you tend to forget about it for long periods of time. You often fail to remember the short applications of the idea for today, and you have not yet formed the habit of using the idea as an automatic response to temptation. It goes on to say, structure then is necessary for you at this time, planned to include frequent reminders of your goal and regular attempts to reach it. Regularity in terms of time is not the ideal requirement for the most beneficial form of practice in salvation. It is advantageous, however, for those whose motivation is inconsistent. That would be me. I don't want to point fingers, but but I don't know. But this book was not written with just the name Zulma in it. I'll say it that way. I'm not the only person who owns this book. I'm not the only person who has read or will read that lesson. That one. It needs to be, but it needs to be not just overlooked, just read and close the book and go on with the rest of the day. It is advantageous for those whose motivation is inconsistent and who remain heavily defended against learning. Do I want to do this? Some days I'm like, oh, I can't see. My eyes are this, that, and the other. Doggy wants attention and all that. But I made a decision. I made a decision. I made a decision of power. I made a decision of love. I made a decision of truth that I am not going to spend day after day after day, quote, suffering. I am not going to spend day after day worrying about what I can and can't do, about what I didn't accomplish that day, about this. No, no. today, I'm going to train my mind a little bit more. An atomic habit. 1%, he says. He calls it 1%. 1%. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, what's the name of this book now that you wanted me to check out?
Atomic Habits.
Okay,
I'll send you the information. Yeah,
please,
yeah.
thank you. That sounds awesome. Thanks so much.
Yes, yes. And as we're reminded, um, miracles become habits. In fact, the workbook lesson says that miracles are habits. It says that when they haven't occurred, something has gone wrong. That miracle, no, that's not the one. It says miracles are habits and they should be involuntary. That's what it says. And that might go in there. That might be in that lesson too, but I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to do the memorization thing. That doesn't matter. But miracles are habits and that they should be involuntary. Involuntary. So I'm looking at my slide. Three things: identity, process, outcome. Now, in his book, he starts out talking about the outcome. That's the goal. He says there are three methods of change. The three layers of change. The first layer is changing your outcomes. And it goes on and he goes and explains that. The second layer is changing your process. How do I do this? How do I do this? Do I listen to the course on audio? Do I read the course? Do I uh, include what Lynn sends us every day from Ken Wapnick? By the way, Lynn, I accidentally deleted the first 25 lessons. If at some point, slowly, no rush, no pressure, you can send those to me again, I would greatly appreciate it. Greatly. I accidentally I don't know. I wasn't looking at it, and I thought that it was the lesson itself from the course. So, and that was my mistake, for not paying attention. If you can, I would appreciate it. Anyway, so is the process. And the third and deepest layer is changing your identity. That is, I have to remember who and what I am. That I am not this body. I am free. I am still as God created me. I am not the body. I am free. I am still as God created me. But here's a slide that I'm just as they come. As they come. This would be fun if I wasn't if you all weren't right here doing this with me, because this is how my mind tends to do things anyway. Oh man. Um um I was just saying, I am not a body, I am free, I am still as God created me. However, I don't know how to feel. We don't know how to feel sometimes because we have accepted the ego's confusion and therefore believe that the learning device, my body, can tell me how to feel, or that a website can say to me, you have this condition and therefore you will be this, that, and the other. You will act this way. And of course, the course teaches us that, in religious science, we learn about that mental equivalent. We learn about that mental equivalent, that it is done unto us as we believe. I believe this and I act accordingly. And that's what manifests. I am taught to come to recognize, though, that I have a choice. I think a thought, I add the feeling to it, and then I manifest whatever, and I behave in such a way. But unless and until I recognize and remember and believe and know that I am not a learning device. What I am at my core is not a learning device. No, I am not this body. I am not this body. I am free. For I am still, always have been, and always will be as God created me. I saw something in the chat. Thank you for Karen. I thought I saw something in the chat. Let's see. Might that be so? And Dove wrote, altruism is defined as the selfless concern for the well-being of others. Altruism, the selfless concern for the well-being of others. And even with this, I didn't know that that Karen has someone that someone that has ADHD. If she may have told me that before, I didn't remember it. Frankly. More on the practicing part. This slide doesn't even have pretty color behind it, and it doesn't matter. It reads, practice periods. Now remember, I'm talking ADHD. ADHD. Practice periods are planned to help you form the habit of applying what you learn each day to everything you do. Practice, practice, practice. That's behavior. We're not told we can't change our behavior unless we change our mind. But once we change our mind, then we begin to behave in a way that goes with what we're thinking. Because that's what we're doing now. We're behaving, if be it, yelling at somebody, cussing somebody out, telling somebody that they're this, that, and the other, and or whatever, or going into our room and crying all the time and feeling all depressed and thinking that, oh my God, woe is me, or whatever, any of that stuff, any of it. Or even, oh, I'm going to be such a good person today. I'm going to go out and be altruistic. Being altruistic is not something that you plan to do. Now, that I wake up and say, thank you. I love life. I love me. I love me. And because I love me, I love everything and everybody. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. That's different. That's different. But to think I'm going to go out here. Well, it's what the Course says about miracles, that if they're done, with the intention for speculation, basically, that that's not real. Pretending I'm in love, pretending I love you, acting sweet because I want you to think highly of me. Practice periods are planned to help you form the habit of applying what you learn each day to everything you do. Do not repeat the thought and lay it down. Don't just open the book, read the lesson, close the book, and keep on moving. No, that's not that's that's not learning. That could be study. That's reading. It's study, but that's not learning. Because once I've learned something, I've got it. I've got it, and I embody it. Starts as a thought, it becomes a part of me, a feeling, and then I act in that way. Not the other way around. It's not fake it till you make it. That doesn't always work. The case of fake it till you make it. In some cases, you can do it so much till you realize, oh my God, I am that. It still comes back to the identity. It still comes back to recognizing what you are. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are, and what you want to be is what you think you are. What you want to be then must determine every response you make. The third part of that statement, though, is the behavior part. What you think you are, the first part of that is saying the identity. It's saying the identity. And what I want to be is what I think I am. It's already happening. In religious science, we call it the seed, the soil, and the plant. The seed, the thought, or my identity, my oneness, my isness, my godness. I'm a godling. I like that word. My isness is the seed. The soil is that feeling, that embodying, that studying and learning, that recognizing, the recognition, the unification, the realization. This is what we call spiritual mind treatment. It's the recognition, it's the unification, it's the realization, it's the process. That's the soil doing its thing, and it's not even something that happens consciously. It becomes the new habit. It becomes the new habit, and with that comes the gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Comes the gratitude, and then just you can release, like, okay, I got this. On to the next. God's got me. I know God's got me. I've got God. I'm one in one. God is the air I breathe. God is the mind with which I think. God is my vision. God is my source. Cannot be separate from him. Do not repeat the thought and lay it down. Its usefulness is limited to you, if that's the case. And it's meant to serve you in all ways, all times and places, and whenever you need help of any kind. It's like review 1. Paragraph 4. You don't just, it's not just something that you when things are going great, but in so-called times of trouble. Try then to take it with you in the business of the day and make it holy. Make it whole, worthy of God's Son, acceptable to God and to your capital S, your real self. I'm dropping that screen. I think I am. Oh, the mouse isn't working. Drop the screen. Can't drop this. Oh, there we go. Drop the screen. Thank you, Karen. I love you too. And yes, Gloria, act as if, because the if really is it. It really is it. The if really is it. Acting as if I am is that which I am. It is. I am that. I am that. Let me I'm going to bring up this. Wait a minute. I have to get rid of this thing. Something is wrong. Something is not right. Something is there that shouldn't be. And I need to get rid of it. The other thing. I want to bring up one of Ernest Holmes's treatments in the world. Because since I didn't do the pretty thing with it, things are on top, one on top of another, and we're not going to have that. All right. A treatment from Ernest Holmes, one of the prayers in this book, this thing called You, which I highly recommend. It was the first book that I had ever read from Dr. Ernest. When the first day that I went to the Center of Peace, they had a bookstore, and I picked up this book. I like the title, This Thing Called You. What's that? I can say the PDF if you're interested. Anyway, there is one power, one presence, and one life. The living spirit is right where I am, within, around, and through me. I am in spirit. Spirit is in me. Spirit knows in me. Spirit sees through me, thinks in my mind, acts through my act. This wellspring of life flowing up through me knows no obstruction, no congestion, no imperfection. There is a pattern of perfection at the center of my being, a divine and heavenly pattern of wholeness. Every organ, action, and function of my being is spiritual. The spirit is perfect in every part of my being. I live in peace, in joy, and in perfect life. That's the truth of who I am. I am in a state of grace forever. My reality is only spirit, and therefore I am in a state of grace forever. There was another, you know what? I'm going to bring up this slide that from last week. Actually, I was going to use it last week, and I don't think I ever did. And it's from from Michael Singer, from his book. Why is that not happening? From his book, The Untethered Soul. And he states, to attain true inner freedom, you must be able to objectively watch your problems instead of being lost in them. No solution can possibly exist while you're lost in the energy of a problem. Everyone knows you can't deal with a situation if you're getting anxious, scared, or angry about it. The first problem you have to deal with is your own reaction. You will not be able to solve anything outside until you own how the situation affects you inside. Problems are generally not what they appear to be. When you get clear enough, you will realize that the real problem is that there is something inside of you that can have a problem with almost anything. The problem is, I think I have a problem. The first step to deal with is that part of you. This involves a change from outer solution consciousness, outcome, to inner solution consciousness, identity. You have to break the habit of thinking that the solution to your problems is to rearrange things outside. Let me tell you, because I can help you. See, I have the answer. See, let me fix you. I can do that. No, I can't. The only permanent solution to your problems is to go inside and let go of the part of you that seems to have so many problems with reality. Once you do that, you'll be clear enough to deal with what's left. And what will be left is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I just realized what time it was. I apologize. I got one more slide then, just one, just one, just one. And quite simply, that I have decided that instead of ADHD being attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, the ADHD for me is accepting divine healing daily. And with that, Lynn, I turn this mic over to you. Thank you, family, for being here.
Thank you so much, Zulma. What a wonderful presentation. And I love it's seeing your process and hearing you find, yourself, oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. And then I just forgive myself for that. And let's just move on. And it's just such a beautiful demonstration of the power of A Course in Miracles and the power of these science of mind and these other systems that just bring us to the point where we are free to just be what we are and not be think that we have to put on a show. I love it. I love it. I love it. You can produce my show any day. All right. Thank you, Zoma. I'm going to shut off this